one of the big pillars in our cabin business is that they're all unique. And I think that's one of the reasons that we've been able to be so successful and quite affordable for the price. So we decided to go with that option.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Invested and Rested. We have an awesome guest on today. Her name is Addie Wales, and she is local to me here in Minnesota.
Addie was so much fun to talk to. She's super entrepreneurial and she has some very sexy assets, some beautiful Airbnbs in Minnesota. And it was really fun to talk to her because she's doing what we all want to be doing in real estate and making money off of it. So listen in because this was a fun one.
Hi, everybody, and thank you, Addie, for being on our podcast today. We are so excited to hear about your journey with real estate investing, entrepreneurship, and being a marketing guru. So start us off, before you got invested in real estate, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you were up to.
Hi, my name is Addie Wales. I live in Minneapolis. I grew up in Ely, Minnesota, which is up north, for those of you who are not in Minnesota. And Ely is a tourist town. So I lived in that town with my family, and my dad was a realtor. So I spent a lot of time as a kid driving around, looking at property, helping him show houses, scoping out land. And he always tried to convince me to be a realtor. That wasn't...
We understand what that's like.
Yep.
Yeah.
That wasn't exactly the path for me. I don't think I have enough patience for that, for the sales funnel. But I have always had an interest in real estate. So I kind of found myself coming around to real estate in 2020 when we bought our first cabin. But I guess before that, we bought our primary home in 2017. And we house hacked that. So we always had roommates and tenants, even though our friends thought we were a little bit crazy. But that just helped keep our cost of living really low, and we were able to save up. And then in 2020, we bought our secondary home, and this was a log cabin in Ely, Minnesota. So that gave us a place where we could stay when we went up to visit family, and we could have our own space. And it quickly turned into a short-term rental pretty much as soon as I got the idea. We kind of went all in. So that actually required a lot of work for that property because it was off-grid and it didn't have any of its own utilities. Crazy. But it was a fun project because, 2020, we just had a lot of extra time on our hands. So we got a well and a septic and a solar system and a generator, and we turned that into a year-round short-term rental, and it just did like way better than I ever expected. And we were pretty much fully booked. So I was like, okay, what's next? Like, this is really fun. We need more inventory. We need more places for people to stay. So we found another piece of land, 22 acres nearby, and then we built a brand new modern cabin from scratch on that land. And that was in 2022. And the build process took almost a year. So I was the general contractor. So I learned a ton. I mean, you're just making so many decisions when you're building from scratch and so many connections and just talking to everyone. So I kind of have a pretty good understanding of how that whole process works. And then that land we actually prepped 2 build sites on, and we kind of took it slow. And then just a few weeks ago, we put a prefab shipping container modern cabin on that land. So now we have 2 modern cabins and then 1 traditional rustic log cabin. And those are all STRs up north. Okay. And then a year and a half ago, we turned our primary residence into a furnished finder midterm rental, and we moved into a little apartment in Minneapolis. So it kind of came out of, the reason was because we own a fitness and co-working space in Minneapolis, and we were kind of getting sick of the commute. So our house was in St. Paul. We wanted to live in Minneapolis. So we were like, well, let's just rent an apartment in Minneapolis. And it doesn't make sense to sell our St. Paul house because we had a really good interest rate, and it's a great neighborhood and a great house. So we kept it and we put it on Furnish Finder, just left all of our furniture in there. And we've hosted like 4 different groups of traveling healthcare professionals. And it's worked out really well, like better than I expected. And it's really nice to be able to offer. I mean, we're already hosts, like short-term rental super hosts. So it's nice to be able to like provide that hospitality for visitors to the Twin Cities.
That's awesome. And it's your backyard, so you have a great idea of what's in the area and can be awesome hosts. My biggest question with the midterm rentals is, what does your vacancy look like between guests?
Yeah. So typically we've gotten really lucky, and a lot of times it was only like 1 to 2 weeks, but I think our biggest vacancy was like 5 or 6 weeks. So, it's not ideal, but you are charging a decent amount more than if it's a long-term rental. And so
Yeah.
you're able to just kind of like float and cover that cost. And it's nice because then you can get in and do different maintenance needs and just make sure it's ready for the next tenant.
How long do your
Awesome.
midterm renters usually stay?
So the typical traveling healthcare is 3-month contracts, but then often they extend and they have a 6-month. So they'll just extend for 3 more months.
Oh, great. So if you have a month in between, they've already stayed a good chunk of time.
Yeah, they'll let you know. Yeah, they'll let you know like a month in advance. I think we're going to extend, and then that's kind of nice. If you like them, then they'll stay. Yeah.
I'm only on my second midterm guest. So I'm doing a midterm rental in Florida for my mom. Well, it's her place. I'm just helping manage it. But so far, knock on wood, the tenants have been absolutely amazing. It's only our second group, but the traveling professionals is such an awesome niche.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, they're just looking for like their number one priority is safety, especially like if it's a nurse traveling alone. So like we're able to reassure them like our neighborhood is super safe and quiet. And then we're also dog friendly, and we have a fenced in backyard, which is a huge amenity. I think a lot of people want to travel with their dog because it gives them a sense of comfort and familiarity and family, and that's worked out really well for us.
Imagine this. You're surrounded by a small group of women in a beautiful home, eating healthy food, and of course, some chocolate. The women have an entrepreneurial spirit like you. They want to grow, they want to expand their minds, and they want to make their life dreams come true by investing in real estate.
Does this sound like something you might want to do? I know that's where I want to be. And we are in the midst of planning our 2025 retreat. We're only taking a small handful of women. So if it sounds like something you might be interested, head on over to investedandrested.com, get on our email list, and you will be the first to know and have the opportunity to join us next year.
And tell us a little bit more about your co-working and fitness space.
Yeah, so the Wilderness Fitness and Co-working is in Uptown Minneapolis, and we opened it a little bit over 2 years ago. And it is a really fun, unique niche space with a focus on health and wellness. So we've created this 17,000 square foot space for professionals and small business owners and remote workers who are looking for a place that they can go to work, but also work out and also make connections with other professionals. And it's been a really fun journey. It's a lot of work. It is in real estate. Like we are renting out leases on month to month. Some people are just renting desks. Some people are renting small private offices. But it's a little bit different than like owning homes and renting those out for, just short term or month to month, because with the co-working space, it's really all about like providing an experience and building community, and we offer events and we host events, and it's a lot to manage, but I really love it. My husband manages the co-working space full time, and then I have a desk there, so I still have a W-2 job. I work in marketing consulting, so I work from the wilderness a lot of days of the week, and I enjoy those days more because those are the days where I end up prioritizing my workouts and my health and wellness, and I talk to people and chatting with friends, and those are good days. So I think the co-working space has been a really fun way to build community in Minneapolis, and especially coming out of COVID, and then like also people who are moving and they're transplants and they don't know anybody. It's a really good community oriented, health focused space.
Does it have
And
like a
fun.
full gym?
Yeah, we have a full 5,000 square feet of our space is a gym, and then 2,000 square feet is solely event rentals. So there's like 4 little rooms in there that people can rent and for all sorts of occasions. And then the remainder is the co-working, which is kind of sectioned off. We have like 10 or 20 small offices that fit 1 to 4 people, and then the rest is open space with the desks.
Wow. That's so cool. I
It
wish
is.
that was near me. I would totally be there.
It is beautiful, Caitlin. You would absolutely love it. So I've only been in there. Well, I've been in there a couple of times, but I only worked there once. And like the fitness also is so much fun. There's like monkey bars and like rings and like not balance beams, log beams. I don't know what you would.
Yeah, balance beams. Yeah. So my husband and I, our background is in American Ninja Warrior. So like the vision with the gym was that it's not just a normal boring gym. It's a gym where like it just looks really fun, and it looks so fun you just want to try it, and it doesn't feel like you're working out. It feels like you're just playing. So our motto is work, play, connect.
It's so funny that you say that, because I literally had no idea what that American Ninja Warrior was until last weekend when my son had a birthday party at an American Ninja Warrior place. And it was so cool to see all the different like obstacle courses and like, yeah, truly playing. And that's really awesome.
Yeah, kids love it and adults love it too.
Yeah. I would want to try for sure. I don't know if I'd be any good at it, but I did watch. I mean, it's kind of like that show, American Gladiator, like a little similar. And yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a show.
Growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm sure the American Ninja Warrior show came out of that show, but a little bit safer, hopefully.
That's
yeah.
fun.
And we'll link everything in the show notes here for your short-term rentals, co-working space, etc. But if you have not heard of the Wilderness, or even if you're not in the area, totally look it up. It is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and anyone who's listening, we would love to host them for a free day of co-working. It'd be really fun. Like, just come in and let me know that you listened, and I'd love to chat and meet you.
Very cool. So moving on a little bit, you've done quite a few different types of rentals now. What are your goals with investing in real estate?
So I think I am good on the short-term rentals for now. I want, like, everything that I do, I kind of want to take it slow and pace myself, and just make sure that every space feels intentional. It's not rushed, and it's like done right. And then also make sure that our occupancy is staying at a profitable rate. But my next interest is potentially another midterm or long-term rental in the Twin Cities. With the 3 short-term rentals, like, it really is not passive. It's a lot of work. So I think I'm okay with the 3 short-term rentals for now. And we have our 1 midterm rental. But I'm currently looking at a couple of different options for long-term or midterm in the Twin Cities.
Awesome. And do you want to do this full time at some point, or you want to keep this on the side and enjoy marketing as well?
So I think it's nice to have a W-2, especially if you're investing in real estate.
I think that's not talked about often enough either.
Yeah, it's really helpful. Like, with my husband being self-employed, like, we need my W-2 as far as like the stability for the income, but also the health insurance. And then my W-2 has been like the big reason why we've been able to get approved for these various loans that we have.
Yeah.
So the plan right now is for me to keep my W-2 job. I mean, my husband is managing the co-working space full time, but I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. Like maybe we'll switch, flip. Like I know like five years ago, he was kind of like the primary W-2. So who knows? It could flip every so often, but.
Yeah, great to keep it open. And going back a little bit, I have a couple of questions about your container house. How did you decide on that? Where did you get it from? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we got bids from builders to build a second cabin on that lot. And the cost of building right now is just insane, and especially with the interest rates. I think our bids were like between 350 and 400,000 for a 2-bed, 1-bath cabin. It's not on a lake or anything. Pretty much they would finish building it and it wouldn't even appraise for the costs of that it was built
Wow.
for. So it didn't really make sense. And then you end up paying like $1 million for it by the time the loan is paid off.
Yeah.
So it just didn't make a lot of financial sense to do that right now in today's current climate. But we really wanted to move forward this summer because the lot is just sitting empty, and we had already invested in the well and the septic and the electrical to that lot, and it was sitting empty all of last summer. So we were like what is a quicker solution that like we could start hosting guests this summer, because our other 2 cabins are already fully booked. So we like needed the inventory. We wanted to be able to host people, but we wanted something that would be much quicker. And then my other concern about building this entire summer was that we would be getting bad reviews from our Aurora cabin because the guests would be right next door and there would be construction all summer. So we were just like made a big pro and con list, and I was researching a ton of different prefab or tiny home or like built off site options. And we were like kind of thinking about it for almost a year. And this option just appeared on Facebook Marketplace. One of the distributors was advertising. He's based out of Minnesota, but the shipping container cabins are built in China, or they're prefabricated and built, and then they ship them over. And we just thought it was a super unique option. Like I only know of a couple shipping containers in Minnesota. Kind of one of the big pillars of our business and our cabin business is that they're all unique. And I think that's one of the reasons that we've been able to be so successful. So I thought that it was really cool that you could completely customize it however you want. And we could get a wall of glass on the front, which looks really cool in the woods because it's like completely reflective and all you see is trees and clouds and sky. So I just thought they were really beautiful and unique and quite affordable for the price. So we decided to go with that option.
How much did it cost?
So their base model starts at $25,000, but we did a bunch of different upgrades, and ours was around $40,000.
Oh,
that's
versus like 350, 400. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. So we actually didn't have to get a loan at all. So that was really nice too, because like we don't know exactly how well it's going to do. I think it's more of like a 2-night stay, more of a weekend place because it's smaller, but it's okay because we don't have a mortgage on it.
Yeah. And how big is it? What's the square footage?
It's 400 square feet. So it's like 20 by 20.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. That
how
you
many
might not want to stay there a whole week in 400 square feet.
Yeah, it just sleeps 2 people. It just has a queen bed. So it came in the size of 1 container, and then it unfolds, like the walls and the ceiling and the floor fold out, and then it ends up being the size of 3 containers. And it kind of has like an open space for a kitchen, living entry, and then there's a little bathroom, and then there's a pretty big bedroom that has the queen bed.
Nice. Oh, I can't wait to look at the listing.
Yeah, check it out.
So you have this already up and running?
Yeah, so it arrived,
okay,
I want to say like May 15th, and now it's like June 21st. So within 4 or 5 weeks, like we did everything. I mean, it's been a pretty busy month.
Yeah, I bet.
So I'm excited to like kind of have the rest of the summer to chill and relax a little bit. But I mean, it was super nice that we were able to get it up before peak season. Like our first official guests they arrived today actually. So I hope it goes
congratulations.
okay. Yeah.
That's
You'll find
awesome.
out what
And
quirks are.
Yep.
somebody always has to be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to do another one of these shipping containers.
So not necessarily. So the 22 acres, we are allowed to have 4 cabins. So we could do 2 more things if we wanted, but we would have to build another road. We would have to get another septic because the septic there is only big enough for like 4 bedrooms or 8 people. It would be quite a bit of investment. So like there's no concrete plans right now to do that. It is an option for future, but I mean, my husband and I were also talking like maybe we don't want to put all of our real estate investing eggs in the Ely basket. I mean, Ely is super great, but like the STR is definitely getting quite saturated there. So yeah, maybe we'll just pause on the Ely STRs for now, and our next project might be a midterm or a long term in the Twin Cities.
Gotcha. And is the cabin a year-round? Sorry, not the cabin. Is the shipping container? I guess all of them. Are they seasonal? Are they?
Yeah. So Ely Log Cabin, that was our first one. That one has been year-round for the last 2 or 3 years. But I've decided, and I announced it publicly to hold myself accountable, I don't want to do it this winter because the winter provides a ton of extra challenges with it being solar powered and off grid. Like there's almost no sun in Minnesota in the winter, so it just makes the power, like electrical, like super expensive and unsustainable because you're basically just powering the cabin on the generator, which is propane. And then it's a lot of extra stress with like sweeping off solar panels and getting it all plowed out. And it's more expensive for us to operate it in the winter, and we make less money because less people want to visit in the winter. So I decided that one's just going to be seasonal. The Aurora, the modern cabin, that one definitely is year round. And I think that one's even better in the winter because it has these huge glass floor to ceiling windows and it lets in so much warm natural sunlight, and it has heated floors and it has a propane fireplace, so it's just like super cozy in the winter. So that one will definitely stay. And then the shipping container, we've been talking about and trying to decide, do we want to try it this winter? Like we really don't know how it's going to be in the winter. It honestly like doesn't have the best insulation. Like we don't know if it has enough insulation in the ceiling, especially. We don't know if it's going to stay super warm or if it'll be like super expensive to try and heat it. So that is TBD.
Nice.
Wow,
Yeah,
so much more to think about than I think about in California.
Yes.
We have a cabin, as you know, near Sandstone, and we have some land right next to it. And we're trying to figure out what we want to do with the 3.3 acres that has a separate entrance that's right next to it too. And thinking about potentially building some little cabins or glamping sites or something like that. We haven't really ran any numbers or actually started just like researching for fun, but not the specifics yet. And yeah, we'll probably end up doing seasonal as well, just for like the insulation purposes. And then, like you mentioned, the extra work that comes along with it in the winter. One of our biggest errors that we've had is running out of propane while a guest is there. And it's something that you don't think about when you live in the city or California and don't have to think about those things on a normal basis.
That's happened to us too. I distinctly remember I was in the airport in Cancun and I got a phone call from my cleaner that the cabin was completely cold in the winter. She's like, it's like less than 50 degrees in here. And like we had a guest arriving that day, and it's problematic for a few reasons. Like, first of all, if you call the propane company, they're going to be like, okay, we'll be there in 7 to 10 days. Or you can pay for emergency and they'll give you a huge upcharge for same day, which obviously we had to do. But Second of all, like with the solar system and the plumbing, like all of your plumbing could freeze, and that's just a huge pain. And then like your solar batteries could just be completely ruined, and they're like $10,000. So it was very stressful. So that's one of the other reasons I'm like there's so many variables that can go wrong in the winter, and winter is when I like to travel, and like I want to be able to just like go on vacation and not be worrying about if the cabin is freezing up north. So that's kind of one of the other motivators for me to make that one seasonable.
That's great because, I mean, it's taking business into consideration, but also taking your own health and sanity into consideration, which is kind of what we're all about. So good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of health, I know that you've had a little bit of a health journey yourself. Tell us a little bit about that and how you're making decisions now based on your health.
Yeah. So I have been at a period in my life where my health wasn't optimal. I had SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. So it's a gut disorder, and it's all consuming. It kind of takes over your life. And when that happened, I had to prioritize my health as number one because I didn't really have any other options. So I spent a year working with a naturopath doctor in Minneapolis to get my health back to. Did you ask which doctor?
Yeah.
I worked with Dr. Cassie at Minneapolis Integrative.
Okay.
Shout out to her.
Curious.
Yeah. Their team is great. I have a blog post on their website that you can read, and I have an Instagram video kind of about my health journey.
Cool.
But yeah, so I think it's all about kind of like I prioritize it more in different periods of my life. So at that point, like it had to be number one priority. But now that I'm healthy, it's more about balance. So now I get to put like more time and energy rather than spending hours like meal prep, like food prepping every single thing from scratch. Now I get to spend more time like planning cabins and researching cabins and like doing things with friends and going out to eat, which is like a huge luxury that I won't take for granted, because when you have those gut issues, like you don't get to go out to eat and spend time with friends in that way. So that's something that I really enjoy doing now. And I spend less time like food prepping now that I'm healthy. But I do still prioritize movement every day. Like that's something that just makes me feel more productive. It makes me feel happier and healthier. And that's part of the reason we started the Wilderness Fitness and Co-working, because we wanted to create a space where it was just like very natural. Everyone else is doing it. Everyone else is prioritizing their health and movement. And there's opportunities like really easy to jump in and take breaks in your day and move with other people. So we have like a walking club, a run club, recess classes, yoga classes. I teach yoga there on Monday, just one day a week. So yeah, that's kind of how my health journey has evolved, and prioritizing it more and less in different ways at different periods.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, like when you're going through something like that, though, it's like you said, there's no other option. Like you have to prioritize it because you have no life if you have if you don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
You can't socialize.
One quote
You
that
can't
always
barely work.
Yeah. The quote that always sticks with me, which I probably butcher, is healthy people have 1,000 dreams, but sick people, which sounds a little intense, but sick people only have one dream.
To be
get
healthy.
healthy.
Yeah. But I'm probably butchering that, but something along those lines of like, don't take your health for granted. Yes.
But that's so true that when you do get your health in order too, then you get to find that balance of like, you get to have fun again. But like you said, you're keeping movement as top priority because you know that's what's helping you feel your best. That's probably what's giving you the energy to be able to research a new long-term or midterm rental or different cabin options and be able to run do all the things you're doing. I mean, you are a busy lady, it sounds like, between your W-2 and helping with the co-working space and all these STRs. It's no small feat.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think sleep is the other one I didn't mention. Like,
Mm.
I think I need 9 hours of sleep.
I do too. People
Yes,
don't
me
talk about that.
too.
They're like, oh, get 7 to 8. I'm like, actually, I feel very tired with 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm. It's the men that can have less sleep. Like, good for you. I wish I could. 9 is a good number for me. I don't know any women that actually feel good from less sleep.
Yeah. Like 2 nights ago, my son was sick and he had croup, and it's like this horrible cough in the middle of the night. So we were up. Like, I got barely any sleep. And yesterday, I did not move. I ate In and Out and ice cream. It's like everything goes downhill when you don't get sleep, because I had no energy. And I'm like, I can't cook because I'm too tired. I only want ice cream because that's going to like lift up my energy, you know? So it is just like I think, yeah, I definitely prioritize sleep, but having kids kind of they mess things up, man.
Yeah, you're a warrior. I don't know how you do it.
Somehow.
Yeah, you just keep going.
Yeah.
So, Addie, what does financial freedom look like to you, and how do you envision your future when you accomplish, or maybe you already have, financial freedom?
I think it looks like not having to work a specific number of hours at a W-2, and then also not having to be location dependent for work. I don't think that I'll ever stop working because I actually really like working, and I like challenging my brain and being busy, and I like being productive. But I think when I have financial freedom in the future, I'll be able to like spend a few months in another state, somewhere warm, and um, like be able to prioritize my days in the way that I want to. Like my ideal would be like waking up and making a really healthy breakfast and spending time cooking in the morning and then going on a long walk or doing a workout or going to yoga class in the morning when my body is like feeling it. But with the W-2, when you have to start work at 8 or 9, that's not really possible. So I think that's what financial freedom will look like for me.
Yeah.
I love
Never
that.
having
And
to set
we're,
an alarm clock again would be nice.
yes. And just waking up, you're right, eating a healthy breakfast, taking time to have a healthy breakfast. Right now, I'm totally struggling in the breakfast department. I'm like, it's just a protein shake. Because I would love to have something bigger, but it feels weird taking that time to actually cook in the morning. Also, definitely not a big cook. All right. Well, Addie, I know you do some other consulting and help other people with short-term rentals as well. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, I work with people one-on-one if they are looking to buy land or if they're going through the build process. So I'm able to sit down with them and talk them through the process from start to finish and look at what the cost estimate might be for them. So I'm happy to share numbers with people. So I've sat down and shown my sworn construction statement to a lot of people who are thinking of building similar style cabins, and we just break it down and talk about areas where they can save money, or areas where they can fit within their budget. And I help them through the process of what it looks like to get a construction loan. And I'm a super action oriented person. So like we meet for an hour, and by the end of the hour they have like the three most important things, like what they're going to go do that week. And I found it like really rewarding and really fun to help people one on one, and just help them make their cabin dreams and goals a reality.
We feel
That's
that.
awesome.
We like
Yes,
that
100%. I'm like on board. Know what that's
yeah.
like. I might have to set up a meeting with you when we get a little bit more serious too about what we're going to be doing with our land. It would be great to have your expertise in that area because it'll be an adventure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great
Sounds
that you do that. We had a guest on recently that she was a general contractor too, and she said she was telling us about all the mistakes she made and the extra money that it cost and whatnot. And it's like spending a little money up front to get a little help and guidance is probably a good route to go if you're thinking of doing that.
Yep, you can hopefully learn from other people's mistakes if they've already been through it.
Yeah,
Totally.
and cutting down the hours of so much research that needs to be done too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much, Addie, for coming on. We so appreciate you taking the time and sharing a little bit about yourself and your expertise. Where can people find more about you?
My website is elycabincollective.com, and you can book our cabins on there. You can also book a consulting call. And then my Instagram handle is Ely Cabin Collective.
Cool. Well,
Awesome.
I'm gonna go check out those cabins.
They are beautiful. You will spend so much time looking at them. I'm like, I can't stop creeping.
Thank you.
Do you design them as well?
I do the interior design, yes.
Nice. So another passion.
Yeah.
Pretty
it's
multi-passionate.
definitely a creative process.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
One thing I feel like people don't talk about too with that is it's not just like what makes it cute, but for STRs, it's what is actually going to last? What will guests not spill on? What will stains come out of? You're like,
Cute
when you're new,
functional.
you're just thinking, oh, this looks cute. It's like, nope, stain's never going to come out of that. And white is beautiful, but that might not work for the space or whatever.
Yep, I will never do a white couch in any of my rentals.
No.
We do leather in ours so that it's easier to clean.
Mm-hmm. That's actually really smart because we're pet friendly, and that might be, if I have to replace our couches, I might go the leather route.
Great. I have a whole bunch of couches for sale right now, right in
Perfect.
Richfield. You can come pick up. Available September 1st. All right. Thanks so much for being on our podcast, Addie. We hope everybody loved this episode, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of people reaching out to you after this.
Thanks, Addie.
Thanks, Caitlin and Rihanna. It was nice to meet you.
You
You too. Bye.
Thanks, friends. That's the episode for today. We so appreciate you being here with us, and would love if you could leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts.
And don't forget to subscribe for future episodes and check the show notes to sign up for the waitlist for our retreats and future coaching programs. Stay rested, friends, and talk soon.